Obviously, I don't really need to give these guys any introduction, but my name is Katie Walsh, and I'm here to moderate a conversation about this incredible film with Matteo Garrone, and obviously give these guys their flowers as you already did. So technically, because of Academy rules, I can only ask questions to Matteo. So these guys are just here because it's fun to have them here.
Outside, maybe they can.
Yeah, maybe outside you can ask some questions, but that's why I'm only going to be asking questions to Matteo. Just explaining, we're following the rules. I need to. Well, I know at the beginning of the film you talked about or at the beginning of the introduction you talked about your motivations for making this. So I don't want to, cover that too much because you guys already have heard that. But, the ending of this film is so incredible. The close-up on his face, and there's flickers of hope and uncertainty. I think it's kind of an ambiguous ending, but I'm curious what sort of emotional note you wanted to leave the audience on at that moment in time.
Well, first of all, I feel sorry that we can talk with them because they are the protagonists of this movie. This movie has been a movie that, as I said before, we made together, and I've been a sort of intermediator. Thanks to them, I couldn't enter in a culture that was not mine, and they trust me. I trust them. So. I feel lonely to be alone without them, but the rules are these. So, well, I can say something about the actors, and also you asked me about the ending. The story that you've seen is based to true story, as I said, and one is. All the first part, from the beginning till Libya, is about the journey of Mamadou that you met before. And the last part, through the Mediterranean Sea, is from Fofana. It's a guy that now lives in Belgium. And 10 years ago, I think 8 years ago, he was 15, and he made this heroic act to bring and to up to 250 people, with also women and kids, and drove the boat without know how to drive a boat, like you saw in the movie. And when he arrived, he was so proud, and he started to say, "I'm the captain, I'm the captain," and he went in jail as a trafficker of human being. So that's the contradiction that we live in Europe. We give money to Libya, to the real trafficking of human beings, because we have business with them for petrol, and we put in jail the hero, that are the real victim of this system. Now that we are talking in Italy, there are a lot of IO CAPITANO in jail. Now the rules are even more tough, so you can be in jail also for 10 years. Fofana went in jail when he was 15, he went in jail for 6 months. And then when he came out, he went in this center for migrant minor, where I come to and discover this story. And about the actor, I would say that Seydou and Mousatapha were in Dakar. We cast in Dakar. They never went away from. Was the first time for them, the first opportunity to go out from Senegal. That's why they went to this casting, because they knew that there was an opportunity to go abroad, to discover the world. like the character that we wrote on the script. So we create a sort of wedding between Seydou and Mousatapha and the two characters that we wrote. Mousatapha was studying in a school of theater in Dakar, and Seydou lives in a small town 1 hour and a half from Dakar called Thiès, and the mother and the sister are two amateur actors. So they push him to go to the casting. He didn't want to go to the casting because his dream is to be a soccer player. But fortunately for us, the sister, I mean, the morning, I'm sorry because it's nice when he tells this story by himself, but in the morning that was the casting in Thiès, he was supposed to go to the casting and he went to play soccer. So the sister discovered from a friend that he didn't arrive at the casting, so he went to take him and brought him at the casting, and it was really something, you know. I feel like this movie is a little bit magic because, you know, these things is a little bit magic that happen. Then here they arrived and it was full, and so they said it's too late, you can enter because it's already full. So they went away, and when they were going back home, he discovered that I lost the key. So he went back to the casting to look for the key, and the man on the casting see again Seydou there, say, okay, you are sit there, okay, come in.
Perfect.
Wow. Thank you, sister.
This key that he lost have
It was the key.
a meaning, I think, magic in a way. Yeah.
When you're working with,
And the last thing I want to say, just quick and then,
Yeah.
because there were many things in common with the character, I put something of them in the script, like for instance the music. They both love music, they wrote song, Seydou and Mousatapha, they love to sing. So I think that this element could make richer the script and the character. And then, because they were dreaming, like many young boy in Africa, they were dreaming, you know, they have access on the social media, so they chat with people that lives in the States or in Europe. So they were dreaming about go in Europe or in the States, and so I prefer to don't give to them the script. So we shoot in chronological way from scene 1 till the end, and they didn't know if they were going to succeed or not to arrive in Europe. So they were always hoping, like the character, they were always making this struggle, this fight for trying to arrive, you know. So that's the way we work together. So every morning we used to tell to them about the scene of the day.
So, and kind of going off of that, and also working with, you know, young first-time actors who are in their teens, when you're shooting some of these incredibly harrowing scenes, like in the detention center in Libya, or the torture room, even on the boat, like how are you sort of emotionally guiding them as a director through some of these incredibly?
I'm thanks for the question because as I said before, we had a very great privilege to work with all the extras that you saw in the movie were real migrants, people that made the journey, that passed through the desert, or to the torture in Libya, or in the boat in the Mediterranean Sea. So we had this incredible privilege to work together. So for them, also for Seydou and Mousatapha, was very important to have this relationship for months with these people. And I felt often that they were the co-director. I mean, I was not trying to say to them what to do, but I was trying to put them in the situation to relive what they lived in the past. So sometimes I was the first spectator of the scene. And that's why I think I feel lonely here because we really made the movie together. Every movie is a collective art. So, but in this case, I think they helped me. And I remember once we were shooting a scene in the prison in Libya. We recreate this prison in Casablanca, in Morocco, because it's a fiction movie. But there was this scene where the guard entered in the prison to look for someone that knows how work to do, you know, and they start to do like this. And at the beginning, the actor that was doing the intermediator, saying if you pay money, you will be free, was supposed to do this scene, enter in the cell and say who knows how to do this. He did it, but his performance was very weak on that part. And I had 100 extra real migrant, as I said. They were very disappointed.
They're like bad performance.
I can feel it. They were disappointed because he was too weak, too gentle.
I see.
So I changed, and I put the other actor that is the one that you saw in the movie. And he entered. He cut, very very rude, and at the end when I said stop, big applause over it. So it means this is the right one.
Yeah.
So that's why I can say that they were a sort of co-director. Also when they tried to help people from the hole in the boat, it was impossible to imagine that after I say action and was going a scene like that. I was like surprised because it was something so real. So they start living something that they lived in the past. And for them was very important to show to the world what does it mean to make this journey, to see how the human rights are continually destroyed. And so they wanted with this movie finally tell to the world what does it mean to be victim of a system so injustice. And so because often they are not believed when they try to tell the story of the
Well, watching this film, I was just sort of blown away and devastated by some of the things that I was seeing, Googling news articles after I watched it, but especially the scene on the boat, which you bring up, it really teeters on this edge of chaos that can explode into danger, violence, riot. And it sounds like you were working, it was a collaboration between everyone. Can you talk a little bit about just your crew and the extras and sort of
that scene was a little bit out of control. It became very real. And so I was very worried because they start, also people extra start to fight for real. And we were in the middle of the sea and I don't know how to stop. There was because there was an actor inside that was trying to act the role of someone that was very nervous, and another one extra that was not an actor that thought he was serious, so he beat him. And so arrived another that started to beat the other. And I was in the middle of the sea and everybody was starting to beat each other. And I was thinking, now we go all in the sea, and it was, but when you make a movie about adventure, action, that there will be a lot of difficulty, there will be a lot of a problem, but also this part will make the movie more rich. So I think also we try to use all the elements, also the moment where we were really in trouble, and also in the desert, on the jeep, there were moments where we had a lot of trouble and danger. And also, for instance, the scene when he's tortured, Seydou is tortured, that is, I don't know in English, hanging. The stunt made the wrong, so he fall down on the very marble. I do you say in English?
Concrete.
Yes,
Marble?
table of marble.
Oh, okay.
Marble
And
table.
I thought he was going to destroy his face, and fortunately he succeeded. Take the face on this side, and and he's been so brave that after 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, he was again there
Wow.
to do
Wow.
it. So what I learned that this incredible energy, this incredible desire for life, brave, innocent, humanity. These are all elements that I try to bring on the screen, on the movie. Don't kill, these elements that are so important, because they are fight for a right that should be of everybody. The right of dream, of look for a better life, of move.
Well, there's also a real grandeur to the filmmaking. It's some really beautiful shots in the desert when they're on the ocean. Was that also an important element for you to bring into an adventure film like this? It feels like a road movie at times. It's not just the harrowing, devastating moments, it's also natural beauty and...
The landscape is a character of the movie, but it makes feel them so more lonely, alone, and so it was very important to give to the audience this
the size and stuff.
Yes. And we work a lot on our research, documentation, picture, video, very tough video, real video that you can find on the internet about torture and about people dying in the desert or in the boat. So we try to be authentic, and at the same time I put my point of view, my way of my experience at the service of them. So it's a movie that I recognize like mine, but at the same time I'll be at the service of their story. I feel like when I was shooting this movie, I felt many times that I was doing something close to Gomorrah that I've done 15 years ago, but also very close to Pinocchio, that is the last movie that I've done. I think there is a lot of inside. So it's a sort of I would say a coming of age story, also a Homeric fairy tales. It's a contemporary odyssey. So we wanted also to give this element of fairy tales. The fairy tales are true. So, but and the moment more oniric that there are in the movie are important to tell the wounds that he has inside his soul, because he passed through moments that are so trauma that he will have for all the life. So we want to show the part inside of him, how he's reacting to this, the idea of that he feels he's dying and to be forgiven by the mother for what he's done, for instance. That's the reason that we decided to use also this moment for me.
Well, I think we can take 1 or 2 audience questions. Yeah, right here in front.
Can you discuss how this scene came about, and the same thing with the messenger? That I think you just touched on it a little bit, where he wants to ask his mom or talk to his mom before he dies. Those two kind of
The
magic.
question is about like some of the spiritual elements, the magical realism.
Yeah. Well, I said that came from the design to give his, to tell about the trauma that he passed through in his soul, in his animal, soul. Yes. And this is about the fact that obviously he couldn't save the life of this woman, and so his trauma comes back in his mind, and so he dreams about the idea to save the life like a balloon. And it was tough, because when we made the scene, the first take, Seydou was good as always. He's always very good, very simple, very authentic. And so he made a very good scene. But then at the second take, he started to cry in a way so intense that the moment that you saw in the movie. And after I realized in the evening, he told me that the father died in the same way. So he was seeing the father in that moment. So that's you can see the way they act, them and in general all the actors that I had, some were professional, some not. They were very emotional, so they didn't have an academic approach, but very emotional. So sometimes they were really suffering, and some other they were really having joy, and so they've been very, very, very generous. I love. For me, it's been really beautiful to work with them, and I've also remember very, very nice and sweet about the beginning when there is the scene of Seydou that is trying to go away from the family in the night without being seen, and the small sisters saw him and say, "Where are you going?" So that scene, I was starting on Seydou that preparing the bag, and I was waiting for the line of the girl called Mama, saying, "Where are you going?" So with the eyes of Seydou that noticed her, I was turning the camera on the sister. I said action, and Seydou started to prepare the bag and didn't arrive the line. So after a while, I turned and I saw Mama was sleeping.
Oh.
So she was sleeping. She was sleeping. So I said, she wake up and she start to act. It's the one that you saw in the movie.
Wow.
So that's fantastic to work with. They were so relaxed and not any pressure, not agent, not parents, no, that are maybe thinking, or nothing, very simple, very sweet, human. So I love that to work with them. I have the picture of her in my home.
So sweet.
I'm a big fan of these actors.
Let's do one more audience question right here.
I thought the film was exquisite. One thing logistically as a filmmaker, in the desert itself, the trucks, how challenging was that? Because that looked very real with the people in the back and falling out. That looked extremely dangerous
On the
filmmaking.
Jeep, you mean?
Yeah.
So the question is about driving the
That
trucks in the
was
desert.
one of the moments on the Jeep where was the moment where I think we were very close to because the stunt that was driving the car was completely crazy. So he lost his mind.
So that was also authentic.
There was a moment that I started to lose the control of the video and I didn't see anything, and I started to hear screaming.
Oh, jeez.
That's the end.
Oh my God.
Fortunately, there was just someone that had this on the back, but nothing serious. So I said, okay, stop. To go. Next will be close up of him. Don't go on the Jeep, and they wanted to go to the Jeep anyway because they believe in the movie.
Wow.
Well, it truly is a magical miracle that we've seen on the screen that you've pulled this off and working with all of these great actors. And so thank you so much.
Thank you for
Thank you
coming.
for